So there I was, sitting in Kanakakava in Kailua, Kona, Hawaii, getting ready to go to Peru. And I found this young man named Flat Stanley. He's a thin sort of character from Houston, Texas. He was visiting here, a friend of mine named Bill. And I asked TL if maybe Flat Stanley wanted to go. He sure seemed to like it. And then I asked my other friends. They thought it was a great idea. Kelly and Mike, they all thought it was a great idea. So we decided, let's do it. Flat Stanley and I went to the Kona airport, and the security guys had to shake him down. They weren't sure. He looked like a seedy character. Flat Stanley was a little bit nervous, so he had to have himself a beer. I think it was too much for him because, well, he just started dancing with the hula statues. Anyway, we got on our plane and we made it, and we went to Lima, Peru for a few days. And Flat Stanley got to go shopping. He helped me out. He helped me find some places to go. He really liked the plaza in downtown. And this was one of the bigger buildings there. I think it was the Parliament building. Then it was time for us to go to Cusco, where we were going to do a volunteer trip at the San Francisco de Assis Orphanage for Deaf and Disabled Kids. Flat Stanley had his ticket. He had to pay his airport tax, though, then get his boarding pass, checked in. He had to make sure to buckle up. It was kind of tough for him, but he squeezed into it. He kind of slipped once in a while. But we finally got to Cusco, and he was welcomed by a band. They just really seemed to wonder who Flat Stanley was. We told him he was there to volunteer to help out. And the kids there, they just love Flat Stanley. This was at the school, the first day that we got to the school, and we got to meet the kids, and Flat Stanley was off in the background with the kids. It was pretty cool. And we all taught him how to salute, because Terry is a retired major. And they got to wear my hat. They really liked the hat. We got to do a lot of different things. And Flat Stanley was playing games, and we helped paint in the school orphanage area, in the courtyard area, and made a lot of different improvements there. But one of the other things that Flat Stanley did when we stayed there, we made wheelchairs. Flat Stanley was our official wheelchair tester. And he did a good job. Don't you think he looks great testing the wheelchairs? Sometimes he acted really goofy. He wanted to be like the king. He wanted to be an Incan king. He thought he looked a little like him. What do you think? I'm not sure. After we worked at the orphanage for a few days, we went up to a place called Salcantay. It's a little village way, way up in the mountains. And Flat Stanley got to play with all the kids. They were playing soccer and just having a good time with Stanley. And this is one of his really good friends. This is Robin. He wanted a little girl. Isn't she a pretty little girl? And this was her little sister. She wasn't sure about Flat Stanley because he was about the same size as her. Flat Stanley helped us make what we call Laverno stoves or adobe stoves. And this was right in the house. He kind of got stuck in the bamboo. And then we had to work on it a little bit more by ourselves, but Flat Stanley was supervising us. And we finally finished the stove, and it looked really pretty. The people were really happy. This is a Quechua lady in her best dress and her little daughter on her back. And this is the other ladies that were so happy that we helped out, and we're so glad to see Flat Stanley. After that, we went back down to Lima, and this was one of our friends that we met down there. His name is Juan Pedro, I think his name was, and he helped us drive around. Drive around. We met some strange people. Flat Stanley wasn't sure about this guy. He wasn't real sure, so he said, "Terry, come on want to go back with you? Okay. And then it was time for us to get our tickets ready and come back to Hawaii. We had to come back on Continental Airlines. We got another ticket. He got his ticket, and they gave it right to Flat Stanley. But when we were there, we had to wait around the airport for a while, so Stanley did some shopping. He looked around. There were a lot of different things that he really enjoyed, like the llamas and 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 the food. He kept going back to this restaurant, and I had to chase him down. You know how kids are. He got just just so, and he was really having a fun time. But he also had to email. He had to email Miss TL, his friend back in Hawaii, to tell her that he was coming home. But he also met some friends at the airport. They were sitting down there, waiting for the plane. They were going far away too. And the waiter said, well, it's time for your plane. It's time to go. And we got on our plane. We flew to Houston. And you know, while we were in Houston, Flat Stanley figured that he would just stop there and get in a cab and go back to the school. But we had to get back to Kona. Did. He just had a great time dancing with the little girls again.